till this point, we've actually looked at the Amazon Seller Central, right? We talked about inventory, pricing, orders, and in this session, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the two most important, I think, once this account is active, is the reporting and the performance. And I'll kind of start with performance and then move into reporting, okay? So let's look at the menu up there and says, it says performance. Let's click that just for the sake of it. We saw it on the dashboard as well, but let's click it here. So now this is your performance dashboard. Now on the left hand side, you see something called account health, okay? And what this is based on 6 factors. They're telling you how your account is doing, right? 6 factors that they're looking at is order defect rate, cancellation rate, late dispatch rate, return dissatisfaction rate, policy violations, and contact response time. Okay, and then any notifications associated with it, it will show you on the right hand side of it. Okay, on the right side, it's showing you your customer feedback. Okay, how are you doing in the last 30 days, 90 days, 365, and lifetime. Now, obviously, they have a requirement of meeting each one of these things to a minimum level. Okay, so let's go to account health for a second. Okay, and let's look at the details of account health. Now here, if you look at it, it's telling you that your order defect rate is 0%, cancellation 0, late dispatch 0. The reason it's doing that over the last 7 days is because the particular seller hasn't processed anything. But right under it, they also give you targets. They're saying your order defect rate can never be above 1%. If they find that your order defect rate is above 1%, then they will probably send you a warning. And if you're still not in the long term, here, they're showing you short term and long term. If in the long term you're still not below their target, they may choose to deactivate your account, okay? And order defect rate is calculated based on negative feedbacks, your A to Z claims, and your service chargebacks, okay? So each one of them are defined here. If you go on the question mark, all right, you can actually see the definition of what each one of these things is, but just telling you that they have that, okay? Now here, we can click on return dissatisfaction rate. It'll show you what that is, okay? And if we come back here, it will show you other metrics that they're measuring you on, right? Recent customer metrics data. What is your pre-fulfillment cancel rate? So before you even shipped an order, how often did you cancel it? What is the late dispatch? So, the time that you gave the customer, how much lateness did you have? And what is your refund rate? Now, again, each one of these has a target, right? On the right-hand side, if you look at it, the target for pre-fulfillment cancel rate is less than 2.5%. Late dispatch rate, 4%. So they tell you that, listen, this is our standard, you need to fulfill this. Again, buyer-seller contact response. Forget shipping the goods. Okay, what is your response time? Okay, is your response time under 24 hours? And it has to be for 90% plus. How often is it late, right? Like it says, less than or equal to 10%. That's the target they give you. Okay, and they tell you how you're doing. Then return dissatisfaction rate. Now again, this is beta because this is something they're probably new and they're testing. Okay, they do this all the time. They add new criteria, they test it, see if it's working. Their ultimate goal, by the way, is to make the customer happy. Okay, and all of these criteria is meant for sellers to adhere to the rules and to the standards so that the customers at the end can be happy, right? Amazon is all about making the customer happy. So if you as a seller don't make the customer happy, they're going to make sure that you're not able to sell on Amazon, okay? So here, even the new things that they're adding, right, is basically to make the customer happier, right? Here they may have combined a few things. Maybe they added a new criteria called invalid rejection rate. And all of this combined, they want you to be less than 10%. Okay, if you're not, they're probably going to say, listen, you're not doing well enough. Okay, so this is what drives your account health. Okay, again, any notification around it are showing up on the right hand side. Okay, now let's go to the customer feedback tab. Now this is the same thing except more detailed, right? So here it's showing you how you did over 30 days, 90 days, 365 days, and lifetime, positive, neutral, negative, and how many basic feedbacks you've had. Okay, and then if you come below it, it actually shows you each one of the feedbacks, okay, and what the customer has said. Now here, they also give you an option to respond to the feedbacks. So if you want to say something back to the customer, you're able to do that here. If it's a lower rating, which was here, they even give you a button to resolve it, okay. So the customer may be unhappy, so they say that, listen, you have an option to resolve it so that the customer may change their rating, okay. Now, by the way, this whole thing about customer changing their rating is a big thing again with Amazon. You cannot influence a customer. You can't call a customer and say, please change the rating, I'll do this for you, okay. You have to do it through their system, resolve it, and if the customer chooses by themselves to change the rating, they will. Otherwise, if you're caught convincing a customer to change the rating and the customer reports you to Amazon, more than likely you'll get a warning and a few warnings and you're going to be out of Amazon. Now, let me tell you a story. Once Amazon kicks you out, it's very hard for you to get back in. You have to prove to them that you've taken care of all the issues that they reported to you, and then only they allow you. And if it happens a few times, believe me, you never get back in, okay? So you want to be careful not doing things that Amazon doesn't want you to do, and making sure your account health is always these greens, right? It doesn't show yellow, and you never want it to show red, obviously, right? But you probably don't even want these to show yellow, okay? Now, this is your performance on Amazon, okay? So like we started with summary, we went into each one, account health, customer feedback, and then lastly is if you want to see reports around it, you actually have reports that you can see. The last point, and I think very important for most businesses, is what is the reporting or MIS that the system is providing. And I'm telling you from personal experience, they've done a great job of giving you all kind of reports around your account, okay? Even though you see these basic 6 tabs, 6 options here, each one of these options carries much more than what you see, okay? I'll just quickly go to one, right? Say fulfillment by Amazon. Okay, now when we go to fulfillment by Amazon, what we're going to see is that there are a bunch of reports. Look at this on the left-hand side. How many different types of reports are available about fulfillment? Okay, inventory reports. Okay, if you click show more, there's even more. Okay, your sales reports, your payments reports, your customer concessions, and your removals. Okay, so what items to be removed, etc. Right? If I go back to reports and if I go to business reports, a similar thing happens. There's much more under it. They're showing you your business reports, your sales and traffic. Now again, business reports are usually for more senior management, right? They want to get basic ideas of what's happening, right? This is what you probably be using for that. Most of the detailed reports are under the other menu options, okay? And then you have these Amazon Selling Coach reports. So basically they tell you any opportunities you may have, okay? Any opportunities to update your inventory, right? So if you see, it says Selling Coach, right? And here they're telling you any opportunity you have to update your inventory, etc. Okay. So again, like I was saying, there is a bunch of reports that are available. You will have to go through each one of these and figure it out. I'll tell you about ourselves, our business, and I've mentioned this before. We still run an online jewelry company in the US which sells on Amazon. And believe me, on a daily basis, not just myself, the staff is using these reports, right? When we look at fulfillment by Amazon, there's so many reports in here that we constantly look at, okay? Things like, what is our monthly inventory history, okay? What is our inventory, what is happening with our FBA inventory, okay? We look at things like that. We looked at restock, when do we need to restock certain things, okay? So a lot of things we're looking at through the system. If you want to see, obviously, order related, you're able to do that, okay? Any payment related, you're able to do that, okay? So there's a lot of reporting that we can look at. Now what I'm going to do, guys, is, you can explore this one by one. Obviously, there's a lot of details, a lot of text, content that's been written around all this. So you should be able to get details from it. I'm going to go back to our main dashboard, right? So I'm going to click the Amazon Seller Center button. I'm going to come to my main dashboard because there's one or two areas which did not get covered in while we went through our menus, okay? Because I on purpose wanted to take you through here. So one area is the payment summary, right? Now this is obviously part of the reports, but usually you don't think of it as a report, right? This is something that we will probably use daily. Your recent payments, if we click on it, right, what it's going to show you is how they paid us, okay? They show you your balance, okay, and what is your closing balance. Now if I change the dates, right, what it's going to do is it's going to show me how that month performed, okay? If I go back, let's say a few months, okay, how that week went, 1st to 8th August, right? This was what was, beginning, what happened through that week, okay, and what did you end up with, okay? So they are very transparent in giving you what has happened with your payments, okay? So you can find transactions. So this is called a statement view. So if we click on the statement view, it's showing the most recent view, obviously, but we can change, right? We can see all the different from almost a while back, right? Week to week, it's showing us. If we go to transaction view, so statement view is obviously a summary, right? It's telling you overall what happened. But transaction view is where you get to see exactly which transaction happened, okay? So in this case, what I'm going to say is, show me the transaction that happened between 1st and 8th August, and exactly it will show you. It'll show you your previous balances, what are the orders that were shipped out, what are the payments we received, what are the shipping charges we were charged, and what is our balance, etc., etc. Now, there is umpteen amount of detail that is available, okay, because they want to make sure that you have all the information about every single thing that has happened on your account. So may it be any payments that are coming in, payments that are going out, charges they're charging you. If you're using fulfillment by Amazon, if they lose something, they even put it here and they compensate you for it, okay? But you will see every single thing. If there's a mistake that happens, they will not just correct the mistake, they will make sure you know that through the system that the mistake happened and they're reversing the mistake, okay? So they want to make sure that the full visibility is there. So that's shown in the transaction view. If you wanted to get all your statements, this is a place you can download them, right? Month to month, week to week, etc., whatever you want to do. If you wanted to create reports using dates, you could do that. You can generate a report, and then you can actually download it. Okay. If you were doing advertising through the Amazon platform, this is where you would see the advertising invoices. Okay. So if you wanted to go ahead and put ads, promote your products, etc., you could do that, but the invoice would show up here. Okay. So again, this is our payments view, right? This gives us a lot of information of what's happening. Just quickly going back to the dashboard again. So we've quickly covered all the different areas that we saw on the dashboard. Okay, so this kind of brings us to a conclusion on marketplaces. We talked about, what are the benefits, what are marketplaces, can you launch your own marketplace, if you should not. We talked about how to signing up for a marketplace like Amazon. We even saw as a buyer what happens when we look at the pages, what are the different elements that a marketplace brings, etc. And then we went into the dashboard, we saw how to upload our products, how to change pricing, how to look at orders, performance, reporting, payments. And you know what? We did everything from a high level because our job here was not to take you step by step into this, because there are videos available not just from us but from Amazon as well that give you exactly step by step. Our job was to give you an idea of how this works, how do we think it should be used, okay? And when you're using it, the step by step process can obviously be looked at through Amazon's own Seller University or other videos that Amazon has available. But again, this brings us to a conclusion of marketplaces. Our audience and our entrepreneurs, our students online, if you want to get in touch with us, please email us with any questions you may have. We'll try to reply back to you as soon as possible. But thank you again for participating on our course.